Hi, folks. This is Talking Dog Show, and I just want to welcome you and let you know that Arturo Chileri is here, my right paw, as we call him, and we've got a wonderful visitor who's with us so often, Miss Samantha Abrams, who we just adore, and we've got a kind of a fun setup today. Samantha read some of my book, The Way of the Dog, that's been edited pretty much now, but not fully. So I thought we'd have a fun peek into it with Samantha today and see how she felt about it. And I'm asking her for the truth. Okay, we want the absolute truth because I can make changes now. But I did think it would be nice for you to have a taste of it through someone else's eyes. And because certainly my intent is it's an unusual book. It's a book that doesn't give you just the usual what to do with your dog, how to train your dog, et cetera, et cetera. Instead, it talks about the evolution of dogs and humans together and building a culture of your dog with you. Hi, Samantha. Whoops, can you guys hear me? Let's see here.
She's
I
muted.
can't hear
You're
you.
muted still.
All
Well,
right.
I didn't know if you wanted me to unmute yet or not.
Oh,
So,
sure, that would be great. Yeah. So anyway, I was just introducing just what I've been up to with the way of the dog and I didn't know if maybe we didn't talk before today's show and I know you got the book and you might have been able to peek at a few pages. I thought I would ask you, how is it?
well, again, I did just peek at the first couple pages, but um, I'm gonna give a little spoiler alert that it begins with a beautiful poem that you wrote, and I
No.
think that is worth getting if you're a dog lover, or if you want to love your dogs more. That alone is worth getting the book for. That beautiful poem that you wrote.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really quite a different dog book. I was just saying that, it really deals with the development of an intuitive, flowing relationship uh, as a result of more knowledge, as a result of more adept skills that are built by exercises in the book, and also as a result of taking some quiet time with your dog and some deep dives in a more contemplative or type of experience in which you really experience yourself with your dog as a relationship and enjoy, just breathe. And that is just a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to do. This morning I was in bed. I have a dog named Paddington, and he is so funny. You'll be seeing him, Samantha, when you come to visit. But he's just a riot. And he was laying in bed and just decided to roll over. He came up on me and rolled over, and I thought, God, I'm so lucky that I wake up every day with some sort of joyous thought in my head. I don't wake up bowled over by what I have to do, anything like that, because I wake up with my dogs every day. And that just means a lot to me. It really and truly does.
Yeah.
The way we wake up really establishes our day to a large degree, right? Let me
Yeah.
just see what you and Arturo think about that.
Oh, oh my God. Well, right now I'm actually sleeping with three dogs. I got my whim
You
and
lucky guy.
yeah, and I have
We should show a picture of him if you have one handy.
oh no, well, she's right here. I can pick her up. Come
Oh,
here,
okay.
Whimsy. Come here. There's my girl.
Whimsy's our old bitch from the kennel that Arturo took on as a family member years ago. He is so in love with
Oh,
her. She's
oh
old
my gosh, look at how
and
she's
she's
loving
just
on
a
him.
big snuggle bun.
It's so
And
good to see her because you've spoken about her so many times. It's so nice to
yeah,
see
look,
her.
there she is. And she,
There's
of
Whim.
course, whenever he picks her up, she just immediately, lays back and is like, the snuggle bun of the universe. But she's one head bitch on the yard, let me tell you. Still to this day, she walks down that yard and everybody, takes notice. And if Whimsy says do something, they do it.
She's the queen. How old is she?
Oh gosh,
She's like 9.
No, she's older than that. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Because I was gonna
Um,
say
As a young lady.
Probably
she looks
about
great.
11 now. She's probably about 11 or 12 now.
She
Yeah.
looks so fantastic.
Oh, yeah. She's in great health and happy gal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she helps us raise all our babies.
And she comes with me everywhere.
So you were in bed with
Everywhere.
3 dogs is where
Yeah.
you left off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is there any doula type situation where the other dogs help the dogs who have just given birth, or not
Not
really?
other dogs, no, but people. We have other dogs present. As a matter of fact, when Turo's daughter was born here in our living room, in a great huge tub in the middle of the living room, we had more dogs here attending that birth than there were people. They
Wow.
were absolutely perfect. They were quiet. They sat there, and my Eddie, who's now passed this last year, he was licking her hands on the side of the
Oh,
tub very gently, and she loved it. It relaxed her, and it was remarkable. I wished we had gotten a video of it, and
yeah, that would have been
we were
amazing.
involved in the moment,
Yeah.
so we
Of
didn't get
course.
it.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
definitely aware of what was happening and so appropriate. And the room was full of
Mhm.
dogs. And that was the second time, actually, with my first daughter, we had a handful of dogs. It was just an earlier time, and my dog was there, and my dog Buster, who was my previous boy, but really sweet. And and they totally get it. You're a new member of the family's coming, and they welcome them and are gentle with them. I have a picture of my newborn with Jackson, another family dog of ours, and he's laying where they're sleeping, literally born um a few hours before. It's just amazing.
What a great way to come into the world. I mean, you mentioned us just waking up every day and having the privilege of waking up, and the first thing I see, or even before I open my eyes, I feel them next to me, or if I wake up during the night, I feel them next to me, and it's like, there's such a warmth and a security in that. But I also think of the typical way that a lot of people wake up is with just so much on their mind and so
Oh
many
my God.
worries and so many concerns and no way to really turn it off. And it's very different to wake up with these dogs, and right away, I mean, it's so basic and practical, but just to not really think about myself, but be getting myself ready so that I can promptly take them outside. And um, it's
Yeah.
such a simple thing, but it takes my mind off of anything else that might be coming up.
Yeah. So hold on. Like I was saying before, I'm sleeping with 3 dogs. And so I'm taking 2 puppies home that have been placed, and they're just getting extra socialization and extra love and extra family attention from me. And they're just, it's so funny because the first time Anahata was like, "Hey Taro, you want to take these guys home with you?" And my first thought is a puppy, and we always tell people like Royal Frenchel puppies
It's
are not a big
taken
deal.
me a while, folks.
Right.
It's taken me a while.
So I'm like, okay, let's go for it. And honestly, there are some small little things, but I like literally they wake me up in the night to go to the bathroom. Little Wesley goes and he starts licking my ear, and he starts like wanting to play with me and move, and starts to activate. I'm like, okay, time to go to the bathroom. I get up, I put him outside, and we sit outside. I get to look at the sky. And it's like the idea of it is always the idea that it's something I have to do is worse than actually doing it, because then when I do it, these little happy people, they're so excited for this moment. And so then I join them in that. And the same thing, first thing in the morning, we get up and we go out and we go to the bathroom, and they get excited, they come in and they want to play. And it's just been a complete joy. It's been perfect. I've just loved it. So
Now,
yeah.
folks, we've worked together for 15 years. I want you to know more than that, actually. And it's taken me this long to get him to take pups home.
So,
So
so these are pups that already have homes, but you are
they've been sold. They've been
okay.
sold.
But
And
I think that's so great that that you're doing that, because it really, I think, is preparing them for their new forever
oh, yeah.
home.
Yeah.
in
And
such a great way.
yeah, both of these pups, we can't do it all the time, but when we can, we do it.
Mhm.
And they have packages they got that included boarding while they were in Europe and elsewhere. And then when they come here, the dog will, or when one will be couriered and the other one is coming from England to pick up her dog. She's going to actually visit.
Wow.
She's going to visit first Friday, and then in the beginning of August, she'll get her dog. But they'll be, housebroken and very well socialized and loved during that time. And
Ah,
so
that's fantastic.
yeah, whenever we can do that. Yeah, we just dropped a dog off 2 days ago to the lead singer of the Lumineers family, Wes and Brandy, who are just beautiful, beautiful family. Wow, we really enjoyed them. And unfortunately, they've suffered a terrible loss recently with his brother passing in a
Oh,
sudden way at 39 years old or
oh,
very young.
wow.
And so it couldn't have been a better time to get their little dog, Royce, who was named
Yeah.
after a Rolls Royce. Um, uh, but yeah, yeah, it's pretty lovely when we can do that. So, what are we really talking about here? It sounds like such incidental conversation, but really we're naming two things. Number one, that the kind of happiness that you can have with a dog doing what you think is just unimportant stuff in your very important day with all the very important items on your list. And by the way, I have not taken a day off for probably, what, 4 months?
Somewhere around
Somewhere
that way.
around
Yeah.
4 months, every day, 10 to 14 hours a day. I think I had a few days in there when I had my knee surgery where, it was more like a 6 to 8 hour day for just a couple of days there. But then I was bouncing back up, even though I didn't feel terrifically well. But, I say that because you think it's so hard and you think it's going to take you away from all this important stuff.
Mm.
And during that time, I finished my book. I created an AI. I've taken care of my dogs. I've trained a person, hired a person, let go of a person. I mean, you know, listen, life can be rich with the simple things. And when you have those simple things in place and the love is flowing, you have a type of foundational persevering capacity that you don't have otherwise. And I think that one of the greatest things that dogs have done for us over the time that they have evolved to the point where today they're family members, and where cities like Seattle have more dogs than children, San Francisco, and places like St. Petersburg, Florida, with it's known as the dog city. Um, uh, why? Right? Why? Well, I think it's because of some of the reasons I put in my book, which really have to do with the intuitive nature of a human being and the reality that we love connection like dogs do. They like packing. We like packing. And we are scared of packing with humans. You
Mm.
know, humans can be vicious. They're
Yeah.
the top predator, right? And we all know that at some level. No one wants to get creamed on social media. Nobody wants to have their best friend take off with their husband. Nobody wants, we can go on and on with the type of incidents that people have suffered from, and certainly in our genetics. But, when you have a dog, it opens up a territory of an unconditionality that is so rich because it's an open-ended, unlimited space of wilderness. And I say wilderness because it's a wilderness of potentials that you have no idea how far it can go. You just really don't, you know.
I really picked up on that even in just the foreword of your book, and you mentioned priorities and how our priorities can become really skewed and twisted. And the priority of our dogs, especially Royal Frenchels, is that connection. And it would kind of be a different world if we all were able and and deliberately chose, you know, if we were more intentional about putting connection first, it'd be
Yeah.
so different.
Absolutely. And, dogs help us enrich that and nourish that part of ourselves that really permits us to have better relationships with people, to actually have more trust flowing in our bones, a higher serotonin, more oxytocin. I mean, these are real things. There's a whole chapter in my book on the health of humans thanks to dogs. And things like, you have a heart attack, you have a 33% higher chance. This is like significance off the charts of survival in year one. Children, like we're talking about giving birth and having more dogs there than people in my home when Arturo's child was born. And that child had, a 17% higher immunity. And this is
Mm-hmm.
all documented, hefty research. We're talking, all sorts of research centers around the world. So this is not, don't take it lightly. Your dog can have a massive impact on your life. Even at work, people say, oh, I can't take my dog to work. Well, let me tell you, if you own your business, you would like a dog there for the results. And it shows again statistically that people show up for work more often. They don't, their attendance record is higher constantly, statistically, and significantly, not a little bit. It's significant. Also, people are happier in the workplace, but the biggest one is they get better results. They're actually creating more revenue. And this is like quite a thing by having a mascot on board. So, we have dogs at Google, we have dogs with our customers in so many companies across the world. Uh, and that's why they make such a huge difference. I have customers with restaurants where people will go to the restaurant to see the dog. They really don't care that much about the food. They'll get something while they're there, but they actually are there to go in and see Sam. They haven't seen Sam in a while and they just miss it and they don't have a dog of their own and they go in the restaurant for that. And I mean, they're a fun couple. You can see them on our YouTube channel. We have a lot of customers who share on the YouTube channel about, what their life is like with their dog. We call it the way of life with the Royal Frenchel because it's really quite distinct. I do want to say one thing, and I'm aware I'm over talking again as usual, but I do want to say one thing. Royal Frenchel Frenchies are really unique. And what made them unique was a little bit of foresight of mine in that I took a look at the history of humankind with their animals, the last 3,000 years. And if you look at that, dogs in size come down and down and down, and they were outside always hunting, catching things, doing the work, pulling carts, ratting, all those things throughout history, farming, herding, protecting animals, and then they go further and further, and then they're cadaver dogs and dogs, service dogs for the blind, and etc. And they moved into the home. And we just kept developing a closer and closer relationship with dogs. And one of the things that struck me was that we needed a dog that could travel with us because we not only want them in our homes, we want them with us pretty much everywhere. And that it's actually healthier for humans to have that and healthier for the dog today, as long as it's healthy in terms of size and what its expectations are to live out in its behavior. So Royal Frenchels are bred to be your sidestep, your person that flows with you everywhere, that takes interest in what you're doing, has patience all day long, has really good manners, looks forward to when you get off, of getting to spend time with them. They have this innate sensibility and that really puts them in top-notch position for any situation. They get along great with other animals. Not only do they get along great with them, but they make them their best friends, just like they do with humans. They'll choose certain animals in the family or family friends they'll become good friends with them. Same thing with people outside the family. So Royals were bred for today's time, not 30 years ago. People walk around, I feel so for them because they love these breeds like an Akita or something, or, a Malamute, and they live in an apartment in a city. And I'm like, dear God, those poor dogs, the poor people, but they like each other and they take care of each other. I mean, it's sad because they have not yet made that switch that helps them to really understand the needs of the dog breed and their own needs. And when you line those up and you want a really good family member, a really good work buddy, a really good travel buddy, something that's small enough you can take anywhere, but not like a yapping little tiny dog. When you want that type of thing, a Royal Frenchel was built for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to say that because it's really an important aspect of what a Royal Frenchel Frenchie does, with a lot higher health, of course, and a much longer life. Yeah.
I was just visiting a friend a little over a month ago in Arizona, and she works for I think the city of Scottsdale, and they had to make some changes because of governmental changes, and she went from working at this location where she could, it was a really nice environment. She could look out her office window and go outside on her lunch break, and there would be people there, and a garden that she could walk through, and little shops and cafes. And then it sort of got switched over to being in this more industrial environment, kind of like a cement box kind of thing. And I was just thinking, and she was really kind of unhappy with the change, rightly so. And I thought, it would be so great for her to be able to take a dog to work with her. And um, even if it wasn't the best place to have to take her dog outside to, it would still be going outside with her dog on her lunch break. And it would change the environment that she was working in without even having to go and take higher measures to try to get a better work environment. She could just bring her dog with her, and automatically in the environment would change for the
And
better.
And it's a federal law that we are permitted to have service dogs. And you can have service dogs for many, many reasons. Arturo has a service dog for his migraines. Some people have them for heart rates to help even their heart rate because they're so significantly impact the evening of your pulse, etc. And these things are really valuable, especially older people, especially valuable. So yeah, makes a
I
difference.
have a very recent story about an older person and traveling. So I'm in Chicago now. I've traveled to visit my parents, and they're older. And just as an aside, they love having the dogs here, and they're so well behaved while they're here. But when I was flying here, um, I was on the aisle, and there was a woman sitting right next to me who was, much older, and she couldn't hear very well. And I also think she spoke very little English. And she slept for most of the flight, and she got up and went to the bathroom and came back. And then I got up and I took one of my dogs with me. I was traveling with two dogs. And when I came back, the flight attendant who had visited me earlier, and she was asking me about the dogs, and I was talking to her about her dogs, and we, already had that connection. She was standing in the aisle, and she was holding my dog Cozy Bear. And the flight attendant said, "Oh, I just picked him up because I thought I wanted it to be easier for you to sit down." And I said, "Oh, okay, thank you for doing that." And she's like, "Actually, I just wanted to pick him up." And I said, "That's okay too." So I sat down, and she handed my second dog back to me. And then the woman who was sitting next to me, her eyes got kind of big, and she didn't even know the dogs were there because they didn't make a peep the whole time.
Yeah.
Um, and so I kind of held him out to her for her to pet. And funny enough, she just kind of took him out of my hands. And so I said, oh, okay. Yeah, you can hold him. That's fine. And so she held him for like 10 minutes and I had to take a little video of it because it was so cute and she was just smiling and she was just sort of in just this she went to this happy place. You know, you could see it just
Uh-huh.
roll over her. And she just enjoyed it so much. And again, it was there was no exchange between her and I, between her and my dog. It was just this unspoken connection. And it was just so beautiful. And I was, you know, just kind of proud of my dogs because I can't take any credit. I didn't train them to be that way. They are just that way.
Yeah, we have a reality in the breeding industry, unfortunately, where they don't advertise for people over usually 50, 55, and they also don't sell dogs to people over them because what they don't want to do is have the person unfortunately pass and the dog be left or be returned. And we at Royal Frenchel don't do that. We advertise all the way. Doesn't matter your age. And then what we do is help the older person figure out an end of life plan for their dog. And
Mm-hmm.
we help them plan that for a family member or a friend or back to us. And then what we do is place the dog for them. And it's always, we've never had an issue with it ever I've been a breeder over 50 years. I've never had an issue with that. And it's so valuable because older people do not get touched as often. Your
Yeah.
skin is the largest organ of the human body. And to have a dog for an elderly person is so important, especially if their friends have passed. You know, I myself am in my 70s. My closest people, 5 of my closest friends, all passed.
Mm.
And I was the youngest in the crowd. And so I don't have those people here anymore. Now I have new crowd and I love them and we're wonderful. But what happens is that people get left without any kind of tactile connection, without embraces, without affection, without love. Dogs lick you, they touch your skin. When you touch human skin like that, you are sending messages to the brain and it helps to enrich the nutritional body of a human. It also stimulates the brain to be in life instead of death. Because the less and less you're touched, unless you're a person who's lived in the wilderness and had pre-prepared yourself for some level of understanding that not as death, but rather as a different life, most people's brains will start to signal a way out. And so having dogs is very, very important to older people. And so we are constantly doing that. And we have a situation that just happened not long ago. One of our dogs went to a woman. She lived in a retirement village type of situation. She every day would go down to the local shop in town to have her coffee. She went to leave that morning, did so, got out, decided to take a shortcut between the buildings, and she had a stroke midway.
Wow.
And her dog, Lily, her Royal Frenchel Frenchie, Lily, took off and went to the coffee shop. Now, that dog had never been out alone. She had never been off leash or anything. She pulled herself off leash and she went to the coffee shop and she barked, which she had never done, barking and stuff. She barked and got the owner of the restaurant, the cafe's attention, and they said, wait a minute, this isn't normal. They followed the dog back and found her as a result of it. So she was able to get the care she needed just really quickly. I myself was in the doctor's office and my service dog, Eddie, got up and went over to an elderly woman that was alone and holding her head down like this. And I said, you know, tried to call Eddie back. Eddie would not have it. Eddie was a service dog that alerted me to a seizure I have in the arteries to my heart. So it's a heart issue. So he went over to her and started alerting. And I said, dear God, you know, he has never, ever wrong about that. And so I went up to the desk and said, guys, you know me. I've been coming here for years and years. You know, Eddie, I really think this woman's in trouble. She says she has the flu. I don't think it's the flu. She came on a bus. She's here a half an hour, 20 minutes earlier for her appointment. Can you please check her? They took her back in minutes. She left on a gurney in the middle of a heart attack.
Wow.
So she was actually having a heart attack. This is that intuitive realm I'm talking about with the Royal Frenchel Frenchie. They are astounding that way. And
So I have a question about that. I remember years back just being in awe because, I had heard about seeing eye dogs, and again, like you mentioned, cadaver dogs, dogs that sniff out drugs at the airport, those kind of dogs, like various different working or service dogs. But I remember um, it being a special on a news show about dogs who would alert when their human was going to or about to have a panic attack, or if they had some sort of mental or emotional challenge or difficulty where they had to be very careful in social situations or got easily overstimulated. And I was thinking, wow, that's amazing. How do they know? So basically their job was to alert the human to
yeah,
themselves and bring them into a place where if they were going to have a panic attack, they could sit down, it was going to be safe for them. And a lot of times they would typically bring them out of harm's way, have them sit down and then sit on top of them. I
go
was
to the
thinking,
YouTube.
how is that possible? Do they smell a hormonal
Oh
change?
yeah,
They
there are
just pick.
a number of senses are included in the knowledge that they end up acting on. We have, if you go to the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, Royal Frenchel YouTube channel, you'll see a number of videos there of our customers, and one of them in particular was very, very wonderful in sharing her situation because she suffers very severe panic attacks. It's really quite I believe it's a neurological issue,
Mm-hmm.
quite frankly, for her. But in any event, her dog is a Royal Frenchel. He goes to work with her every day. Um, and the whole school adores him. Of course, the kids all behave so they get a chance to pet him at certain times in the day, etc. But he helps her tremendously, and you can watch that YouTube and see how she shares about it, and she'll be sharing more over time. But yeah, it's remarkable what a dog can do for people. I know myself.
How do they pick up on that?
I was on medication for, my God, years and years. And when I got Eddie, I went off all medication. And I haven't had medication since. And the medication I had been on, by the way, ended up coming out that it killed a whole rash of people. And
Wow.
so I was very lucky to be off of it also. But it's terrible medication because when you have seizure stuff and you are medicated, lots of times it makes you cloudy. And I really hated that for me. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't work for me at all. And when I got Eddie, I was freed from that. And so now I use my dogs all the time. A Royal Frenchel is just so good. They're so consistent. I feel safe with it. So
Well,
yes,
even
Novo is my new one, and she's doing beautifully, really, really well. And the way she alerts is very interesting. She becomes highly heightened, extremely heightened affection, like
mm.
bizarrely affectionate. And so it's really lovely. It's a sweet one.
Well, even walking through the airport, it's an entirely different experience because, I have my dogs as service dogs as well, and so I don't have them in a carrier.
uh,
They and I didn't train them to do this. They are trained to do this, but I did not train them.
yeah,
Um,
that's the Royal Frenchel for you every
they
time.
just they just did it.
That's
So,
where those three words come from, Samantha. Manners matter most. Those are the three words around our kennel that
they're
everybody
so
uses because
well-mannered.
absolutely, but they have that innate sense. So when you're sharing, that's an innate sense in a Royal Frenchel.
I mean, picture walking through a crowded airport and they walk into the airport up, to check in. If I have to drop a bag off, they go with me there. They walk through security, all the way to the gate, onto the airport, no problem. And I was recognizing just this last trip that, again, I was kind of in the front seat in the aisle, and they were both just sitting on my lap, super quiet, didn't make one peep the entire flight.
Uh-huh.
But as people were walking past me, there was not one person who didn't smile. And it's
Yeah.
just, think about the stress. It's not that great of an experience to travel these days. So to have that, to be walking through the airport and people are smiling at you, to be sitting down and just people passing by, smiling, 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 it is so nice. It is such a nice experience to travel like that.
Totally.
Oh my God, it is. Yeah. And it really has an effect on you because when people are
Yeah.
smiling at you walking by, it's a lot better than when people
Yeah,
are
right.
grumping with you
Yes.
walk
Yeah,
by,
happy people.
right? And you're not only bringing them happiness, you're really making your way a lot smoother, right?
Yeah, for sure. So with the woman that you mentioned who does get panic attacks, um, the way that a Royal Frenchel picks up on, or her Royal Frenchel picks up on that, just to be specific, is it is it both smell and sight?
Well,
What is it?
I'm sure it's a number of things. I'm sure there are slight, tiny behavioral movements too. I don't know, honey. I could tell you a lot of things. Yes, of course, our body chemistry changes, and
Yeah,
dogs have, more than 100 times our capacity to smell.
yeah,
And so, obviously, they also hear quite differently than a human. So there are tiny inflection changes that can occur, I'm sure. Like I can sit here on the couch, my dog knows words, and I can say, I'm getting ready, I'm going to be going to the store. Please tell everybody to get the dogs off the yard. I'll be sitting here doing that, and my dogs are up at the door.
hmm
Um, so I'm sure it's the words they know now. When I say, go or car, they know what those words mean. But also, I'm sure that there are inflections and movements that are so tiny and not noticeable to a human that are quite noticeable to a dog. And then, of course, the change in body chemistry is huge when you're about to have a panic attack. Those are really big changes. Stress hormones are considerably different than love hormones, for instance.
sure.
And the same thing with me with my heart. With Eddie, I had 40 seconds usually before my seizure would hit in my artery. And of course, if I didn't have medication at that point, my heart could stop because the arteries would spasm, close, and then they stay closed. So I would have to take nitroglycerin fairly quickly. That's a lot to trust in an animal.
Absolutely.
If I ended up somewhere and had that and he didn't alert, you know, I would I would have a lot less time before it got to the point where I realized what was happening. If I'm concentrating on something else or doing something else, you just don't notice it at first as heavily concentrating as I do. Um, but anyway, oh my God, we've been visiting for a while. It's 12:38 already, and we have till 1. I want to show you some puppies. And this is Hero, and he is an absolute doll. I'm going to put him up to the
Look at
camera
those
a little
ears.
better.
Those
He's
ears.
so gorgeous. And his ears just went up. His name is Hero. And he's a beautiful little micro super. He's right between super micro and micro. He's a very tiny fella, and he's gorgeous brindle, really beautiful brindle. You can see, and he's losing his puppy coat right now, but look at that brindle. And I'll tell you, this brindle in the sun as he gets older is going to be gorgeous. I'm sorry. Whoops. I'm sorry, Hero. Did I just, oh, I got my arm caught there. I'm sorry, buddy. Okay. And then also we have this little one. I'll let Arturo share it.
Here's
This is Ollie, Hero's brother.
He's smaller than
Oh,
Hero.
hero.
He's a
Thank
good boy. He was just laying in the sun, so he's excited to come here.
Oh, he's a,
He's
oh, he's a good boy. He's my fellow here. I take my big
Yeah.
hero. Oh, I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a minute because I'm excited too to see you too. Yes, we're going to say settle. That's a good boy. Settle. Thank you. Good boy. That's right.
What a love.
Yeah, he's beautiful. And of course, he's the same. He's a silky. His ears just went up, and he doesn't have the coloration of brindle on the middle of his back, but he does on both sides, which is really
Oh.
pretty. And we've got some other beauties. I'm going to hand you
Who is that one that you were holding before Arturo? He had a sweet little
Louis, yeah, he's
square
coming
head.
back.
Oh, he's coming.
Oh, he's so cute. He's delicious.
Gigi, my goddaughter and a full-time person in our kennel, it helps us every day, and we should introduce her at some point here so that you get to meet her too.
Well, I've had the pleasure of meeting Gigi, and she's wonderful.
She is. This is Louie.
Oh my goodness.
Down middle,
Oh.
There you
That's
go,
right.
Lou.
He's a good boy, Louie.
Yeah, Lou.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's a good boy. Yes, he is.
Now,
Yeah.
is he a micro also?
He is a micro too small. He's really, I think, we have to watch a little bit longer, but he is designated as a micro, but I would say he's the top end of micro, bottom end of small. Yeah.
Got it.
Now we have a dog that is just awesome. His name is Mo Butta. And
Mo Butta.
yeah, and Mo is really just so dear. Oh my God, he's so beautiful. They all are. But Mo is really exceptional because he's all
Mr.
white.
Mo.
He's cream colored.
Mr.
This is
Mo.
Mo.
Here the Mo, man.
Hi,
Hi,
Mo.
Mo.
And Mo is really funny. He plays so beautifully. He's so much fun. And then when you go to pick him up, he immediately turns to butter. He just melts in your arms and stays interested and looks around and everything. This dog would be a great service dog. This dog would be awesome. And so would Hero. Yeah. And Ollie would be a great dog also, and he would be super for children. Yeah.
Well, Mo's face looks so melty. He's got that little droopiness
does.
in the eyes and the wrinkles. He's very melty.
Yeah, and he'll just roll over on his belly, to let you rub him and ask you to scratch in different places. He's like that.
Yeah,
He
he's
loves
really,
it. He's a little
he's an absolute doll. Well,
Yeah.
also, I want to mention that we're just reordering. We've had so many people thrilled with our, our water bottle that has two bowls, one for food, one for water, and it's stainless steel. So it's easy to go in the dishwasher for the big part. You just wipe out the other ones. And I love that it has such a wide opening myself. I love that. And quite frankly, I enjoy the pink. I enjoy both pink and black. We also have a green, more of your, typical, that kind of green that goes along with all your, what do you call that? The military stuff. But
Camouflage.
the great thing about it is that it's really a fun bonding experience with your dog. You go out and you can drink out of the top, and you've set up your dog to have both water and food, and you can all share the treat. You can put treats in there that you like as well as they do, or just for them, and you have your own treat. But the great thing is that, look, everybody thinks they're going to, be really, really on it when it comes to the timing of their dog when they need water, or, when you're out, you're going to remember, and then you forget the bowl, or the next thing is, you're in the store and it's a huge checkout line, but you've already spent 40 minutes. securing the things that you want to buy, and you're like, oh my God, the dog's in the car. I don't have this, that, and the other. However, when you have this, right, it is the greatest thing because you get out in your car and you have everything you need right there. And it's a really enjoyable moment to spend with your dogs. So I just thought I would share about it one more time. That special Friday sale is coming up on Amazon. And for a very brief moment, you're going to be able to get this for $19 and something. And I'll tell you, I make no money on it really at all. So enjoy if that's something you think you might need or want, or I have a couple of them. I have one, I put them in different places that I love. And so it's a great time to get them. And then last, I want to tell you about Mr. White. Terrell, can you get Mr. White website up there for a second?
Sure.
One second. I want to show you Mr. White because we've had some really wonderful development continue in Mr. White, which is an AI buddy for you and your dogs. And not only can it answer any question, any issues you may be having, things like that. Mr. White can respond to all those kinds of things as a member, and you get that free. But if you become a member, a paid member is called the Elite Pack. The Elite Pack has a really remarkable thing. And if you see this moving object here, this is an NFT. It's one of those newfangled things in Web3 or on the blockchain. They call it like a Bitcoin type of environment. And what makes it so great is that it allows you to secure things in the most secure way you possibly can, known to us today. And you can put your purchase agreements for your dogs in there, what have you. It's transferable. But the cool thing is, and the best thing is that, oh, wow, it returned to the old writing.
This is the website. Yeah, so you want
Yeah, well, I put it on the website. Oh yeah, you need the Figma. Hold on, and because I fixed it on the one document. Give us just a second. And we got it here. There you go. Always a Figma right now. Now you're going to see a couple of these little things. These are my changes that I've asked my web guy to make. But this here, it says unlock the Elite Pack and step into your dog's legacy of love living hub. And it'll have your name. So if your dog's name is Petey, it would be Petey's Legacy of Love Living Hub. It's an AI-powered sanctuary for celebrating and caring for your cherished companion. This is a one-of-a-kind living hub, and it'll securely store your records. It'll set timely medication alerts, veterinary appointments, track vaccinations. It organizes stories and photos and all those wonderful things that will happen over the years. And it will also be able, and this is what we're working on right now, how to get the mechanics of this done, but it will be able to have, you can choose any section, and they'll be by different sections. You'll be able to choose what you would like to print out as a book. And so it can get sent to either an electronic book, or you can actually have it printed. And it's really, really going to be precious. And I think that this tool is going to have so much, value to people, because it will, like I was talking about the thermos, one of the things I'm about is like catching the moments when they happen or need to happen. Like that thermos keeps people from having dogs that get dehydrated and their own dehydration levels. It helps you keep hydrated, which is really, really valuable, and it reduces stress enormously. The AI, Mr. White, is going to be able to do things that will bring you so much joy, but it will help you stay on time with various things that are very valuable for your dog. It'll send you alerts on a vaccination that's due. It'll send you alerts for when it's time to get your checkup, et cetera, et cetera. And we're going to be developing it. And the first people who become members, they will be developing it with us. I'm completely dedicated to this project, as is Arturo. And I just wanted to share about it here. You can go to the Mr. White website. This is not done yet. But join us as a, join us in its development right now. I went ahead and let it go live so we could talk about it, and also invite people to sign up and participate with us as we build out the some of the interior and your services. So yeah, that's about it. And I'll stop sharing and see if someone else would like to talk.
Yeah.
Well, I do have one question about that. Is there a way for you to take the say receipts and
Yep.
from that your vet might send to you and transfer it there? Because right now I just have
Absolutely. All records of all kinds will go there. And let me tell you, a huge percentage of testing on dogs is redundant, which means your bills are redundant. And this is one of the things that the AI will catch. So you can be at the vet, and you bring up the website and you go into your membership, and you can take a look at exactly what tests have been done, when they were done. And because many times you'll go to a specialist and they don't have the records from the first doc, they're not up to speed at all. Okay. They're used to sort of being the top of the heap and not having to do things and nobody questioning them. And listen, since corporations moved in and started to own our veterinarians and our vet hospitals, they've really done some things that aren't too cool. So this AI is going to catch some of those for us, I hope. And it's very important. You don't need a dog to have 2 liver tests or, an extra blood test of some kind. I mean, why? If you've already paid for it once, you don't need to have it again. I know for me, back when when Eddie was sick, about 6, 7 years ago, I paid for a test 3 times because he went to 3 different docs and they didn't have the records of each. And by the time I got the records, I found out that each one of them did it. And, that's kind of shameful, I think, in today's world with technology, et cetera. So Mr. White is going to be able to be very helpful to people, not only in the happiness of being able to, have a place to dump everything. And while they're dumping, they can say, party 2000, April 2025, right? And he'll log it as the party on April 2025, Max's birthday. And you'll have all those pictures and you'll be able to call them down and out so you can see them. You'll be able to put them in the book, and you'll be able to have any story you want to do. You'll be able to record the story. It'll type it for you and shove it in the book. I don't mean shove, but you know what I mean. It'll make it so easy. This is my goal. This is my goal, and I have high aspirations, as we know. But I really think we're going to end up getting it all pulled off, and it's very exciting. Certainly, all the things of storage and well organized, and being able to print it out in any section you want, combined or otherwise, and having all your receipts and testing and veterinary records of any kind. It'll be super easy and very quick because they move so fast. AIs are phenomenal. Yeah.
It's so exciting.
Very exciting.
I'm having a fun thought that I'll share. It's imagine that the word dog doesn't exist. All right. Just imagine there are no dogs, but describe the dog in your life, right? There is this.
Oh, what a great thing.
There's this life form that loves me unconditionally, that looks at me all day long with loving eyes, which wants to join me and is always interested in me, who is good for my health, who makes me happy, who makes other people happy everywhere they go, consistently, who enjoys playing, who enjoys the earth and the outsides and enjoys snuggling and enjoys love, and go on and on and on. And then consider the priorities of your life. like, well, what would I want for that being? Like, how important are those qualities to me? Well, those would be for me, that's number one. That's the top. That's the top. So what would I want for the top? I would want the greatest services available. I would want the greatest food and nutrition to keep that little being as healthy as possible, right? I'd want a subscription to Mr. White so I can track the records and make sure that everything is dialed to a T and that I can record the journey of love that I have with my dog
And get alerts for that dog
and
food.
get alerts for that dog and remember,
Be
right?
reordered.
And it's so interesting because, it's like oftentimes, I meet people and, they're working to, first to be able to afford maybe to get a dog, and then they look to cut costs maybe on the food or something maybe I don't want this or I don't want that. And I say, reevaluate your priorities, because what you're getting, right, from this little being is definitely life-changing. And I hear it from everyone. And so I just thought I'd share that because it made me think of that when I was thinking of all these things Anahata was sharing about the bottle. And well, yeah, and when you see people hook their dogs up, it's like, well, of course, they deserve it. And we have breeding dogs that retire,
And
and
don't
there's
forget
nothing.
that bottle's on sale right now
Yeah.
on that Friday
Oh,
sale
yeah.
on Amazon
Yeah,
for
19.
$19 and change.
Right.
Don't miss that. It's
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah, that's a good deal. But I just want to say, some of the adults we have, like, they go on to live glorious lives, and there's nothing makes us happier than we get pictures back from these people, and you just see they just living it up, like legends like Cheeky all weeky. Like, we love them and they're legends here, and they come back and people reach out to us. So anyways, here's to loving your dog. And yeah, I'm honestly, personally, my life has changed. It took a while. I've had a dog, and Whimsy was the start of it. Now I got these two little puppies that I'm caring for, and they're so easy. Like, I put them in a drawer. These are puppies. You know what I mean? Like, the idea, and this is the thing, people, it's a new
Now, wait a minute. He
experience.
doesn't close the drawer. I have a desk
Oh,
drawer.
yeah, right.
Wait a
I'll
minute.
finish.
It pulls out. We put a dog bed in it, and the puppies are there. And it's
Yeah.
open next to his chair at the desk.
Yeah, I mean, these are puppies. I put them in the bed near my drawer. It's like 2 feet off the ground too. And okay, you stay, and he's like, oh, what? Okay, he learns, okay, I'm just gonna stay here and hang out with you. Okay, that's good with me, right? And then he hangs out with me. Then I get his sister and put him in there too. Now they're both sitting there with me. And these are the dogs I'm bringing home with me. And they've just been so remarkably easy. They look up to me for cues. They're and I'm just blown away at the experience. Like, I don't know how to keeps talking about this, that Royal Frenchels are this new new evolution of a dog. And we do our best. Like, we're redoing our website right now. We're trying to articulate that. And the truth is, when you have one, it is a new experience. And
like no other dog.
like none other. It really is a new experience. And I'm still discovering it, like I'm having thoughts like, oh my God, this is what people are talking about. This puppy is so easy. Like, they know what they're doing already. So it's just so cool. I'm just happy to share that. And I did want to share, let me just show you here. Hold on one second. I think I could do it. Here. You can see them in the bed there. Hold on.
Aw.
You see that? There they are, snuggled in the drawer, hanging out together. And these are just, 8, 9-week-old puppies, 9 to 10-week-old puppies, right? I mean,
That's
who would think
amazing.
that?
And
So it's beyond your ideas.
they follow him everywhere in the kennel too. They're so precious. It didn't take them but 2 hours, of being with him before they, just basically follow him like a school of fish everywhere he goes.
Right.
And that's just so precious.
Right.
in.
And I'm not
Come in.
and I'm not a dog trainer by any means. I'm like,
Not at
really, I'm like not good at it. And it's just, I'm just interested in them, and they appreciate that. And
I have one little example from just this morning, actually. So Cozy Bear, my male dog, he we're up before my parents. My parents wake up a little bit later than we've been doing. And he's kind of been barking a little bit. And I guess I just haven't been paying attention to it. But I said to him today, there's no reason to bark. You know, we've been here over a week now. You don't need to bark when my parents get up. And I said, so I was holding him because as soon as my parents' bedroom door opened, he would start to bark. And I said, look at your sister, who's a little older than him. Be quiet like her, just stay calm. You can go say good morning, but we don't need to bark right now. There's nothing to bark about. And he didn't do it. It was like he understood what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I teach our couriers a really important thing. And they come and see the dog before it's going to go the day before. And they spend time with it. And I've taught them a method that I've used for years and years. When I talk to my dogs, I use pictures in my head at the same time. Now I just do it naturally. So she will tell them that they're going to be going on a trip with her. She describes the airplane. She tells them how big the family's going to be, what to expect, what the weather's like there, if they're in a home or an apartment or a boat. We have some people that live on yachts for part of the year, et cetera, et cetera. And she was having real difficulty in the beginning when she started because the dog would be very distressed at the beginning. And I said, no, Lisa, come and let me show you. And she took it in and she does it. And they have absolutely zero difficulty now. I mean, zero. And Lisa will tell you that. You can ask her anytime. It's Lisa Gersten. You're welcome to write the kennel and she'll write you back because she will tell you what her experience is. And so now she does the same thing if she couriers any of our pets to the veterinarian or anything. So take that skill and use it. And the more and more you use it, with your words, you use images at the same time. Dogs can pick up on it. It has much bigger impact. We have somebody in a waiting room, but we can't open the waiting room. Excuse me. In case you are a real person, but we had a terrible experience, and we're happy to schedule you for our next show. We would love that if you would like to be scheduled for the next show, but we can't just press the button because we had someone that we innocently pressed the button for, and they ended up doing wild sexual lewd things on the screen, and we couldn't get it off. And it was quite an experience for all of us. Samantha was with us that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sam, would you like to say anything before we close today? Our time is up. We're actually a couple of minutes over.
No, I just want to thank you guys for again just another wonderful conversation about dogs and the kennel and all the going-ons there. And it's just been again great to see both of you and all the beautiful pups that you have over there.
Oh, yeah. And I don't want you guys to forget the thermos. Right now, it's going on that special on Amazon. Water, food, and right? You get to drink too with your dog. It's a wonderful little bonding agent while you keep good nutrition and good hydration. But Samantha, I just really want to thank you, sweetheart. You're always so wonderful. You make it so easy for me. I'm not a person, I do much better in conversation than I do with some list of or an outline of something I'm supposed to talk about. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, I thank you right back because there's always so much to learn within the conversation. So I appreciate both you and Arturo for opening this platform up for people to learn.
Awesome.
Good. And anyone who ever would like to join us, please contact us and we'll set it up for you to be on Zoom when we begin and join the conversation. We'd love it. All right. Well, everyone have a blessed day and we'll see you soon at the next Talking Dog Show. Bye-bye.